Good morning and literally sliding into afternoon here. Judy Allan here in San Antonio, Texas with Adventurous Stamping. And today we're going to be using some very beautiful paper that people always wonder, what do you do with the paper, right? So we're going to be using some colors, paper that's got some designer series papers that have not only seashells in it, it's also got some gold in it. It also has some nice soft beachy colors. So we're going to show you how you can make some very simple and step it up cards with that today, all right? So let's go down the hands and let's get started. Because it is Wednesday, it is halfway through the week. Sorry for the shine here, but it is dark here. It looks like it's going to rain or something. So we're going to be using a Seaside Base Stamp set. And this is something we made from the retreat, sort of give you an idea of where we're going. And then we've got our colors here. So let me start off with a simple card. It's just going to be a 3x3. So with the 3x3s, we really don't have to do a whole lot, right? In some respects. So this is, just to let you know, so this is just a 3x3, so we're dealing with a 2 3/4 by 2 1/4 piece of paper. So this is very beautiful paper, and it's got seashells on the back. So lots of times people go, what do you do with this? Well, first of all, in our 3x3, I'm not going to use those beautiful seashells, but I am going to use another piece of paper that's got gold and crabs on it. I'm going to flip it over because it's wood. It's got a wood grain look, right? So we're going to put this down with some adhesive, and I've got lots of adhesive here because we had the retreat this weekend. And so I went through adhesive and I had to go refill it, so there is plenty of adhesive here. Alright, so I picked the one that's got the most wood grain, and I'm just going to put it over here and leave my little bit of space that we normally leave, just so we have the color here. And then we're just going to put this on top. So you know, when we do the 3x3, it's just a simple, right? We're just making a simple card. We're not making it, stepping up too much there. We're just going to actually make it simple. So if you're out there, yes, please be sure to say hello. And I would try to keep up with the comments if I can. If you're out there. If not, I would definitely get to them later. And I'm just going to make sure to bring it out over here, right? So I'm just going to butt this right up here next to it. So these are both 2 3/4 in height, right? This one is 1/2 inch. Then this one here is 2 1/4 to give us our 2 3/4. And then from here, all we're going to do is do some stamping, right? And put a sentiment right here on this here. And this is a tag. Don't ask me which one it is offhand because I went and got it from my stash pile. But I'm going to trim it off a little bit. I don't want it coming to the ends, but I want it going over. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim it off. Okay, so I'm going to snip a little bit off on that end. And I'm just going to snip a little bit off on this end. And I'm not measuring it to make sure it's perfect or anything. I'm just snipping, right? Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp a sentiment here. And I've got some linen thread there. So we're just going to stamp a sentiment, and I'm going to do it with this ink here. So I've got 2 inks, and the reason is because we have some other here stuff as well too. So I'll set that one aside for the moment. So we're going to stamp our sentiment. And I'm going to do thank you because I'm telling you, out of everything I've done, there's just never enough thank you cards. Ever, 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 ever. So, if you're a person that's not doing some thank you cards, you need to step up your game because there are so many people that do things for us spontaneously, planned, or whatever, that we really do owe them a thank you, right? Now, the only other thing I'm going to do with this here, I just did my thank you, and I need to clean it, so I'm going to use it again. Because I just got through sending out a bunch of thank you notes. And the only other thing I'm going to do to this to give it just a little bit more, so if I want to give it just a little bit more something, because that's very beautiful as it is, I'm just going to close this here. Hello, Linda. Yes, that's my favorite special peeps that loves this 3x3. She's not the only one, but she is definitely the leader of the pack. So I'm just using the lid here, and I'm just causing it to splatter some paint. I shouldn't say paint, it's ink, right? So this is alcohol based, these pens are. And you'll see if you get the card, Linda, it's got just a little bit of speckle there, just enough to give it just a little extra color. And then I'm just going to put this up on some dimensionals, and it's done. Okay, now I've got my thread here, so I am going to put a little bit around the end down here because I can. Right there. So actually for me, I was going to do it right here. I'm just going to take it around the card right here, and I'm just going to take it, I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to position it where I want it, and then I'm going to use my tag I just made to sit there and anchor it in place, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So I'm going to just take it, make my knot, left over right. Hello, Lourdes, I miss you so much. I know one day we're going to get to see each other soon. Okay, so I'm just going to see how I just did a square knot, and you can move it any way you want, but I just want to give a little extra because, you know, there's always reminds me of the beach. And let's see if I want to get one more over here because I really want to anchor that in place. And I could just as easily put this down in here somewhere, right? Let's see how we're going to look that. We could. All right, we'll do it that way then. All right, so be it. It's all about just making something nice to give you're going to give someone. And let me move it over just a tad bit more. And I definitely know I had the beach fever. I am so overdue. And I have a friend that is at the beach. I don't know how long she's going to be at the beach, but it looks like for a little while. So I'm trimming that off a little bit. And we'll leave it at this. And you know what? We put a glue dot on there, so that'll bother me that it's like wiggling around. I don't know, Lourdes. I'm thinking if we can't sit there and do a lunch date, which seems like an impossible task, maybe we should do either a midnight meal, you know? I mean, we might be better off that way. All kids, all dogs, all kind of things like that would be asleep, and we'll just go have a midnight meal somewhere. I think that might be our best chance. All right, so we're just going to do it like this and just give it that little touch right there, and it's got the sprinkle of blue. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. And we are going to move on to card number 2, which is stepped up a little bit, right? So this looks like a lot of crazy stuff, and this is nothing more than taking, I can't think what it's called right now, but anyway, it's in the annual catalog, and it reminds me like a rope, but it's not called a rope. Anyway, I just took and had someone go and just take all the threads apart for me, and we're going to use that, okay? Because I didn't sew with a rope, and I shouldn't say it's not a rope, it's called something else, but don't quote me on that, all right? Do not quote me on that. So, but it does remind me of rope. It's just a small rope, dainty rope, pretty rope, that you can easily make bags with, okay? So in this one here, I'm going to go ahead and get this down, our base down here. And I think you're really going to like this. I don't know, if not, I do. So, and now I know I'm going to give it to somebody. So there you go. You can't hear me too well? Oh, I don't know what to do about that. All right, just a second. Okay, I don't know. I do not know. Okay, I will just talk louder if I can. If it helps, let me know. Because my techie is really and truly not here, working really a real job. So, it's much better. Okay, I'm just talking a little bit louder. All right, so, okay, so all I'm going to do with this here, I'm going to set this right here because this is where we're going. What we're going to do is we're just going to take these, I've cut these already into squares, and I just messed up the order I had them in, so bear with me here. I'm just going to lay them down on here, and we're going to use these. These are 1 by 1, and you can see the differences in the papers, okay? People always want to know, what are you going to do with all that? See, even seashells. We've got a nice, you got some coastal cabana in there. You got some pool party in there. Just a mixture of colors, and people are always like, what do you do with it? You know, we're going to create with it, right? And we're just going to mix it up. We're going to have a tag right here in the middle. And I also have a beautiful, I'll move these around. So I'm just trying to get them moved around, right? I just don't want everything looking the same. So I'm just moving the colors around, and we're going to do this right in the middle. All right? So the thing is, yeah, I didn't move anything. I just started talking louder. All right, I hope I don't lose my voice. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this down. It's too funny, right? You have to find the humor in everything, because it's like, you know what, otherwise you're just gonna like be miserable otherwise. So I'm just gonna send it. So I'm gonna actually just get my corners first, and then I'll do the one in the middle. And see how beautiful this paper is? So lots of times when this came out, people are like, what are you gonna do with that? What do you do with stuff like that? Well, if you can't deal with it as big as it is, this comes in a 6x6. So what I would tell you to do is, if you don't like it in the big 6x6, cut it down, right? Because that's all I've done, is I've just sized it down to 1x1, and we're just gonna make a nice, pretty, almost like a sampler. So if you want to say it was a sampler of the different stuff, you could say that. Oh, let's see if we get that going. So that, I mean, it's just a one way. If you're not sure how to do something, then just go pick out several. Because there's several pieces in here that people are going like, I don't know what to do with it. Well, I'm going to show you how we're going to do with it, right? If it's too busy for you, then all you got to do is break it up. So in this particular case, we broke it up in 1-inch squares. So that's one easy way to do it, right? Is to break it up. And you're going to see by the time we get through, what you thought was really busy paper and you didn't know what to do, I hope that you know what to do with it. And if you don't, send it to me and I'll show you again. How about that? Let's see here. I think I really had wanted to do that there. Let's go ahead and do that. That's a big clam. This is beautiful, beautiful paper. You don't even have to use it with the seashell stuff and all, but I wanted to show you how you could. I could just as easily totally use this paper for something nothing to do with the beach, but I am in my beach mode, missing the beach, so you're getting the beach. So it's really not that hard, right? You could use liquid glue just as well as what I'm using right now. It's just whatever is easiest for you, because I have to say, putting tape on 1-inch pieces and putting them down is a little different, but I can do it. And we decided to flip it over. So, you know, when we have designer series paper like that, it's got beautiful paper on both sides. And see, I had it on the other side, but now I'm going to go like, wow. We decided to go with that clam. Let's see here. So there, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't move anything. It's funny, I just talked louder. So that'll give the techies something to think about and work on today when I get home from work. So what did I do, or what do we need to do, right? Okay, so I am actually going to put this up on dimensionals, but we're not done yet. But see now how we've just put the different squares here. We've actually just put some pool party color right here, and see how that's going to pick up the colors there. And now we've taken some paper you might have thought was busy, and we're going to stamp a sentiment on here. And we're actually going to take this clam here, which was die cut on Pearl Essence, and we're going to get this clam in here, okay? Because it's pretty, and look at the detail. All right, now I'm just going to put the clam right here on the side. And then we're just going to set this tag right here. I have to make sure it's on the card, right? I got to get it in the envelope. And I'm just going to stamp my sentiment and put this right here. So let's get a sentiment on here, and I got this rope here as well too. I was going to do that. Let's do it in this color. I'll change my mind. I have the right to change my mind. All right, I'm going to do the same sentiment that we just had. Because it's pretty, right? This color goes either way. This is the, oh, that's in a foreign language. Crumb cake. Yes, so if you ever get some inks, we have different labels on back. And so on front, I make sure I can see the English. And then any other language can go on the very back or whatever, because I'm not really worried about that, right? I just worried about the color, because I know I'm not going to be able to read the foreign language. I just need to know the color. All right, so I'm going to shut that. We got our sentiment. With sentiment, we're going to put up on dimensionals. And it's a big question whether or not to sit up here and put this other piece up on dimensionals as well. Let me see how I'm going to do this. Because this will come up just like this, right? And our clam's going to come right here. See how pretty that is? Just nice and elegant, using those nice soft colors. I do have a couple of extra clams that we can put on here if I want to. But let me get the rope first, because I had this all taken apart. Because it just looks real pretty. And we don't have to use all of it, right? I'm just going to come down across the bottom down here and just put a little bit as an accent, all right? Because it just, the way it does and everything else, just reminds me of the beach. And I'm just going to do a couple glue dots, all right? So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and just lay this flat. I think it'll be just fine. I should have done that first, but that's okay. I already reserved my right to change my mind on something. So yeah, so this rope-like stuff comes in white and in this, I guess I would call it like a craft color. That's what I would call it. All right, and get this up here, and then we'll get that on, and we'll be done, right? And we'll see if we want to add this little clams that I did extra, and we could also add a pearl. Okay, there you go. So yes, we can add a pearl right in here. I got the pearls here. These flat pearls are beautiful. I am just going to go ahead and put up one here on the end. Oh, I just dropped it. Thank you. And I'm just going to put it right here. I like it right here in the middle of the clam. Alright, so the person will see it when they open their card. And then let's go ahead. We're just going to add this on here. I'm going to add this here with a little adhesive. And I'm going to tuck the rope underneath. And I'm going to call it a day on this card. How about that? We'll be done with this card. So I'm just going to put this on, like I said, with some glue dots. Okay. Are we doing good? You know, Lourdes, I don't know if you're still there or not, but I do like the idea of a midnight rendezvous to sit up there and be able to visit and get something to eat, get some appetizers, or just socialize and visit without eating. It doesn't matter to me. I'm game either way. Here lately, it seems like I've become a midnight person anyway. And we already know the other person is a midnight person, so it most likely had to be on a weekend, maybe a weekend. All right, you know what? I did it like that, but really and truly, let me let it go a second, because I really liked it when it was sort of wavy and doing its own thing. And that's up to you, but you know, we're talking about the beach, right? And there is nothing like straight and flat with the beach. It's all fun stuff. So I'm just going to leave this right here. I'm going to cut it off. And we can use that on another card if we want to. And there we go. We just got a very nice stepped up card. What do you think? Whoop, whoop. All right. So that's card number 2. All right. So if you think that was something, here comes card number 3 that we really step up. Okay. And I got another clamshell and some little ones again too. So this one, using sort of the same color scheme, right? But we're just changing the scenario. So we're going to use the pool party here on back. I've got some white cardstock, and the reason for that is originally I thought I would do this, but if I turn around and add this, it's really going to make this pop. Okay? So it's all about taking a look at it. You know, some things it looks fine, right? There was nothing wrong with it, but I just wanted the beautiful beachy colors to pop even more. Because you know, if you go down the beach, these are the colors you see, right? These are the colors we see. You see houses this color. I mean, oh my gosh. Everywhere you look, there's colors of this color. And I think almost any beach. Now this is, so that you know, this has actually been embossed. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here because we're not going to do anything else with it. I did it for texture and look because it's got all the different sea stuff on it. So when you look at what we're doing here, we've stepped it up in the aspect we're adding layers and we're adding some embossing. And if you can't see it, I want you to see all the different stuff. Look at all this stuff there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. we actually used this embossing folder for one of the designs for the retreat that we did. Now, so here's the paper. Here's that beautiful paper that people are going like, what do you do with it? And see, this is on the other side. So that's what we just used on the other card. On this card, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to put this in the background with this on top. Okay? So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue here on this to get this down, and then we're going to put this on top. Now this here, get this down. Just it depends on how much gold you want, right? And this would be very pretty just as is, right? But I wanted to use this. And this I splattered with the cap just like I did a while ago, which I could easily put here, but I wanted to use this side. And this is actually something I stamped and stamped off on with the bubbles and all from this and the sand type stuff. So it just gives it a nice whole beachy look, right? So this one here, I'm going to actually stamp my sentiment right here, and I'm going to actually put a clam right here in the middle. So let me go ahead and get the stamp. So this one also has, you are a pearl, rare and precious. And I have to tell you, my friends, you are a pearl and you are rare and precious. And if your significant other doesn't think so, I will be more than happy to tell them for you. Because you guys are. So I'm just going to put this right here, okay? And originally I was going to do it in it, but I'm going to keep it with my crumb cake because it's, you know, it's darker. And let's do that. Okay, thank you. That was for my other thing. All right, and I'm just going to stamp this right here. Okay, that did not go on as straight as I wanted it to go on. We'll try the other side that I wasn't going to use. And you know what? I still might not use it. I might just... Okay, good. Alright, so I'm going to have to get a piece of white to come and correct that, but that is okay. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff because that's small stuff. Because I want, you're a pearl. You're such a pearl, rare and precious here. So, I'm just going to go ahead then, and I'll have to get a piece of white that I don't see handy. It's okay. You will see it when we get it, when we sit there and put it out there to publish it. So there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this up on dimensionals. Since I'm going to have to use a white piece anyway, I might just use the inside of the pearl. That might be just as nice. Alright, let me get this on here. And we'll get it up. Beautiful paper, beautiful paper. You know, people are just sometimes at a loss what to do with it. Alright, I know how I can solve this. There's a will, there's a way, right? There's always an opportunity for creativity of something you might not have planned on doing to begin with. And that is A-okay, right? So, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to put this right here. Okay, so I really had wanted to put this shell right here in the middle, so now it's not. It's going to come right here. See if I can get it stamped this time straight, or however I need to get it. Side of a clam, I'm not sure it's really going to matter. Alright, so we're just going to change it. And I'll have to decide what I'm going to put in the middle over there. Okay, of course it goes on straight there. Whoop, whoop. Why not? Obviously it was meant to be here. So I am just going to put it right here. Right here. I'm just going to cover the spot I just had. Yep. And I'll just do it with glue dots because it'll take it a moment to dry on that pearl essence. And so I'm just going to put this on right there on my glue dots. You see it's like we're sticking, but we're not. I don't want to smear that. Yeah, so the thing is when you stamp on pearl essence with the inks, it'll dry, right? But you're just gonna have to give it a moment because it's not porous like regular paper is. So we'll just put it right over here to the side. We'll put a little pearl in there. Then we'll have to sit there. And we'll just add some bling. Then we're gonna have to put something in the middle there. I don't know at the moment because I didn't plan on messing up. So there you go. We will have to come back and put something in the middle, and that's okay. I'll just put something in the circle and put something on it there. Let's see how that's going to look right there. So we have that a little bit there, and I was going to use the remainder of this here that we had for this one here, because I didn't use it all, right? So I like to use, when I do stuff like this, I really like to use the rest of it. Alright, so originally it was going to go over here, right? So I had to improvise. So let's see what we can do now. We'll just do it like this then, since I had to improvise. So I'm going to tighten this up, right? Because I really, with this one here, so actually I'm just going to sit there and most probably tie it like this here. So since I'm going to put it on the edge, I had to change my game plan. Which is okay, right? It's an opportunity for creativity. And we'll put that there, and then I'll take it down here, and I'll tie another dot down here. So for me, it's like, don't sweat the small stuff. For me, this is like small stuff. You may say, well, I don't know that I could do all that. Well, that's okay. You don't have to. You can do it your way. For me, it's not worth getting upset over, right? It's just opportunity for creativity. It's not what I planned. So I have to just change, right? Just have to flex. So I'm just going to put it down right here on both ends like that. And I'm going to do a glue dot. And I definitely will have to figure out, I have to go down and do another seashell or something in the middle, since I had to change my game plan, which that'll be okay. I can put seashells in the middle. And then we can sit there and turn around and then just trim this off, and that'll be just fine, right? So it's just using a glue dot. I'm going to use a glue dot down here. Now let's see, I feel it. There we go. Okay, so when I get this finished up, you'll have to let me know which is your favorite card, okay? So this was supposed to have a clam in there, so I had to change the game plan. And I was just wondering if I could cut that off and put that over there. You know what? I am. Let me just do that. So I really want to finish this for you. I don't want to have to come back, and I'm just going to cut it right here at the bottom, or across the score. So one thing about it is this has got a score line from it, from the die. Okay, there we go. We'll do it anyway. So it's already got a score line from the die. So all I'm going to do is put this up with dimensionals right here, and I'm going to put my little clams there. So it's just, you know, just making something look nice, right? For somebody special in your life, or somebody you want to thank. And I got enough friends and family that I always have to need to thank them for something. And then we'll just stick another little pearl down in here. Not another little pearl, but another little of these guys. And I'll just tear some of this off of here. It'll be just fine. So yeah, you can tear this off. You don't have to throw it away. It's still usable, right? Just because you have to tear it off is no big deal. So we just have to decide where I really want this clam, right? Because I have to change my game plan. And I'll just do it right here. Okay. So yeah, we had to change it up because it was different than we wanted. And I can come back in here and I can put some more if I want to too. Or I can change it. But for the moment, this is how it's going to have to land because I had to improvise, right? But I really like the colors. I really like the paper. And I really like this part right here, especially when it's trimmed just a little bit shorter. It can be frayed a little bit up there, but not totally wild out there. Okay, and we can add more if we wanted to. So, with that, here's what we have here, and you'll have to let me know what your favorite is. I think I'm leaning myself personally to the middle here because my clam didn't come out right, but that's okay. That's all right. It'll be okay. And I'm just this one right here. So we just started simple. We stepped it up just by adding and enhancing it, right? And we did little squares, so that didn't take anything. And then we stepped this up because we added more layers. We added some embossing. We did more die cutting. And we did this right here. So you see just even here the difference of what the color looks like when you stamp it on pearlescence versus just on white cardstock. So that's up to you. You'll have to decide which way you prefer. So I hope you enjoyed that, right? Because it's all about creating, sharing, and giving. So I already know people I can give these to. So there you go. So if you like the beach, let me know. And let me know what your favorite is. and maybe you'll receive one of these. How about that? All right, so be blessed. Go out there, create, share, and give. And if you enjoy this day, be sure to follow us not only here but on YouTube and share. We'd appreciate that. And be sure to leave comments, right? That's how we know what you like or what would you like us to try out or do. We'll try it, all right? And don't forget we're on YouTube, and that's where the videos will be posted, and the cards will be posted on Instagram. With that, be blessed. Have a totally amazing week. I look forward to seeing you next week, but keep it simple or step it up. Judy Allan here, San Antonio. See you later. Bye.